now, just like we practiced, right? Please welcome Malcom McDowell. Standing ovation, right there.
Don't get too excited.
We love you, though.
Well,
We do.
thank you.
Welcome back to Days of the Dead. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you.
Yes.
How have you been?
I've been very well. How have you been?
Terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you're better now that you're here with me, right?
I'm being great. I'm being great. Thank you.
Okay, so last time we spoke was in Chicago back in May, and
Is that right?
yeah,
Wow, that went fast.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And,
Excuse me chewing, but it's just to give me a little energy.
Yeah, and that was a wonderful time. But I got some more fun questions for you. Okay?
Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah.
fire away.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, as a dancer myself, one of my favorite things that you have ever done was The Company.
The what?
The Company, about the Joffrey Ballet in Chicago. Can you tell me about your experiences working on The Company?
Well, The Company was the penultimate movie that Robert Altman made. One of the finest American directors that ever worked in the cinema. And in fact, forget American directors and just say one of the finest directors. If you want to see what America was really like in that period, just go rent some of Bob Altman's movies and you will see, and he's made such masterworks. And The Company is about a ballet company. And it was brought to him by Neve Campbell, and Neve used to be a ballet dancer. And you know, I don't think she figured it would be quite such hard work, her getting into shape to do that part. I think she was in her early 30s, and she quit when she was 19, I think. So to get back in shape, wow. And it was really, we went to Chicago and shot with the Joffrey Ballet. I played this man, the artistic director called Alpino, and they called him something else in the movie because he had such a terrible wig that was, I mean, it was like literally somebody had just gone boom. It was like a hat, but it was purporting to be, and he was in denial that it was a wig. So I couldn't play him because I'd have to do the whole wig thing, and there would be a running joke, and it would make it would really not do him any service. So we called it something else, and I love doing the film. I love Bob Altman. He was a dear friend. I was doing one of these things at the Lincoln Center in New York about a movie I did called Gangster Number One. I looked down, and there is Bob Altman in the audience. And so I saw him afterwards. We went for dinner, and he said, can you dance? And I said, can I dance? Hell no, of course I can't dance. He said, well, you don't have to. Oh, that's a relief. Then he said, I got this little movie and I want to do it. And I went, I'm in, okay, I'll do it, you know. 2 weeks later, he calls me up and he goes, the dance picture's off. I went, Jesus, you just cast me 2 weeks ago and now you're taking it away. He goes, Paul Newman, wants me to go do this Weinstein project. So I got to work with him. I said, okay, fine. 2 months go by, he calls me again. The dance pictures are back on. I went, what happened to Weinstein? He goes, wow, what a prick.
I'm so grateful that it was back on because I love that movie. It's like, if you guys haven't seen it, it's like somebody just took a camera and put it in the room in a ballet company. It's kind of documentary, but not really. It's like a voyeurism type feel, and I love it.
But you know, this is Bob Altman. This is how he used to direct. You'd be doing the scene, he'd be next door with the earphones watching the monitor. He'd come in and go, okay, Nev, you go ask Arpino. He goes, Malcolm, you just look at your watch. You're busy. You don't want to talk to her. I went, okay, I get it. Because you don't want, she wants, you know what she wants. She wants to play a starring role in the ballet, and you don't think she's ready, and you don't want to be faced with it, and also you don't want to say no. I went, okay. He said, and then, so go to that door, open it, and tell someone you want a cup of tea. Come back, she's on again, go to that door and tell them to shut up. I went, okay, and then come back, and then look at your watch and go, hey, hey, babe, I haven't got time for this. Well, just get me later, okay? And leave. And I went, okay, well, what about the scene? He goes, that is the scene.
Amazing.
And that was it. And that's why he was such a genius. Because really everything, you get everything without the talking.
Yeah.
So you never really, she's never says a damn thing, but you know what she wants. And you know by the way I look and act, you know that I don't want to confront her, and I don't want to disappoint her, and also he's a, emotional coward, which was perfect for the part.
Mr. Antonelli was an expert at avoiding confrontation in that movie.
I think it was Helen Mirren told me in Gosford Park. They were doing this long scene, talk, down a corridor. I think it was with Derek Jacobi. And Bob looks at it and he goes, yeah, no. And they went, well, what? No, it's good, but he goes, I tell you what, why don't you let those dogs through? Have a couple of dogs coming through, and so it completely changed the dynamic of the scene. You don't listen to what's going on, you just see these dogs and they're going like this, oh my God. And the whole scene is about these dogs just running through down this corridor, and it's perfect. And that's Bob Altman, bless his soul.
Genius.
Yeah, genius.
Another one of my childhood favorites is Time After Time. And
Sweet movie.
Yes, and we just lost David Warner not too long ago.
Sadly.
Yes. And any memories from working on that or working with David?
David and I go back a long way to 1965 to the Royal Shakespeare Company at Stratford-on-Avon, where he was a big star. He was playing Hamlet, and it was the Hamlet of his generation. The Beatles' Hamlet. This tall, lanky, thin guy with a big scarf that went down to the floor, rattling off, these soliloquies. And there used to be 300 girls outside the stage door waiting for it. It was nuts.
He's a very handsome man.
Yeah, he's terrific. It was but he was painfully shy. It was where I was the exact opposite. So I was like a mate of his, and we'd come out and he'd, see a nice girl that he'd want to have a drink with. I go, just tell me which one, I'll sort it out for you. And he'd go, the one in the red. I go, oh, excuse me, darling, you, yes. What's your name? Yes, lovely. And, is this your friend? Two of you, come on. Mr. Warner would like a drink with you. Yeah, come on, come with me. So he'd end up with the one in red, and I'd end up with a friend. So that was the perfect way to be at Stratford. So, and then we were always friends. He then married the most beautiful girl, a Swedish girl called Harriet, who all the young actors were like, oh my God, how does this ugly guy get this gorgeous girl? It was a question that we kept asking ourselves. In fact, I asked him. He said, well, being above the title, it doesn't do any harm. Right. And so we knew he's the one who introduced me to Pet Sounds.
Oh, wow.
I know, I remember that distinctly. I went, who are these guys?
Yeah.
God, these guys are good.
Yeah.
He goes, the Beach Boys from California. I'm like, Jesus, I didn't think they had any music in California. And because we were so into the Beatles, And then, so I knew him in London, I knew him, and then, you know, I got my big break. And then we worked together in San Francisco, and it was so nice. Really, it was great. It was great. And he's such a great actor. I had such respect for him. I always thought David was one of the best actors of his generation. Amazing guy. And if you see him in just even little parts, he was in Tom Jones, played this character called Blifil. He was so obnoxious in it. He was brilliant. And he truly was one of those kinds of actors that you go and see in a play, and you literally couldn't take your eyes off him. And he had this kind of burning energy, you know, that, but very subtle. He was really cool. We'll miss him.
Absolutely. And just like you said, no matter how small the part was in the film or show, or how dumb the movie was, I'm talking to you, Ice Cream Man. He was in a movie called Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard.
It wasn't one of mine.
No, but he stole the show.
I don't watch any of mine, so it could be.
Yeah, he stole the show, so no matter what the role is.
Ice Cream Man, oh good. Well, yeah, he has been beaten there.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have any audience questions? Yes, ma'am.
Not to bring up this stinker, but I'm wondering how you came about to be in the Fairy King of R.
In what?
The Fairy King of R?
Was I in that? What's it about?
It's this South African filmmaker that.
Oh my
does,
God!
Yes.
It was made in South Africa.
Yes.
It's a weird fucking thing. Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you about that. The only thing I remember about that is Corbin Burnson.
Yes.
Now there was this. We were in the studio, bored, sitting there, and I said, Corbin, listen, why don't you climb up that ladder and moon the crew from up there? He goes, okay, fuck it, I'll do it. He gets up the ladder and he took 2 Mars bars with him, shoved them up his ass. And I went, there's a real actor for you. Embellishing the part. And he became a lifelong friend when he did that. And that's all I remember about the movie.
The person right behind you.
Why would you ask about that movie?
Riff Tracks made fun of it in one of their Riff Tracks things that they do, and so I've seen it so many times, but with their commentary and jokes over it.
Who was in it? I can't remember who was
It
in
was
it.
you. I mean, honestly,
Corbin, obviously.
you and Corbin are the only names in there. The rest of it is strictly the same actors, child actors he worked with in every movie.
Oh.
I don't even remember the director's name at this point, but
Oh God, I don't remember.
it was Peak Viewing Productions, and they have all these like really terrible movies like The Little Unicorn, and you're just like, you know. Anyway, so.
Stay away from that title.
Well,
So thank you.
I've watched like every movie you've done, but the one doing Bomb Blonde Shell, did it give you a different view on what women had went through during that time?
Which movie are we talking about?
Bomb Blonde Shell?
Bomb Blonde Shell. Oh,
Like, does it give you a different view on how women was treated? Like,
is this thing with Nicole Kidman
yes.
and Charlize Theron?
Yes.
And where I played Rupert Murdoch?
Yes.
It was about, you know, the thing of Fox News and all
Yeah,
that.
I was just wondering if it gave you a different view of how women was treated in the industry.
I didn't need to be taught by the screenplay
Well, I didn't figure you did.
to find it was disgusting behavior.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed doing that because, you know, they gave me some of these makeup thing, and I wore a piece that went into the mouth and with 2 kind of big jowly things. And it, you know, I put this thing on and it completely changed the way I looked. It was really amazing. And I thought to myself, God almighty, I wish I'd found out about this years ago, I would have done it. I wouldn't have had to bother acting so much. Let the makeup do the talking. But it was fun playing Rupert Murdoch, doing that accent because he was Australian, that lived in England for a long time and then in New York. So the accent was really bizarre.
It was. I started after I found out you was in it, and then I like looked up that role and that person, and I learned a lot. So I mean, you are such a versatile actor. I mean, you go from that to playing Dr. Loomis in Halloween. I mean, you're so versatile. You can just play anything.
Well, thank you. I kind of enjoyed doing that part, but you'd have to wait a long time for me to appear, because I think I'm in just the last 20 minutes of the movie.
But it was good. The 20
Yeah,
minutes
no, it was a good part. And I did it because the director asked me to do it. Of course, they didn't pay me. That means if the director asks you, then it's a favor. So that's it. You know?
Well, thank you for the favor.
You bet. You bet.
Any others? Yes.
After, I know there was, a lot of the death threats, after you filmed Star Trek.
After what?
After you filmed Star Trek Generations.
Yeah.
About about the character of Soren killing off Kirk. How long after Star Trek Generations did you receive those threats?
Well, my nephew, whose name is Alexander Siddiq, I know him as Sid, but had to think of his stage name. He was in one of those Star Trek series, 9. He played, I don't know who he played, I never watched it, but he was in one of them. He called me and he said, Uncle Malcolm, there's a thing, that we're all looking at online. I went, what do you mean online? I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And he said, well, you've been getting death threats. And I went, for what? Killing Kirk. Jesus Christ, I went, they should be thanking me. Death threats? Where's the sense of humor? And I went, okay, so we went to New York to do the press thing, and I was accompanied by 2 ex-LAPD officers. And I went, I'm really embarrassed, I'm sorry guys. I'm staying at this beautiful hotel, and they would come out, we'd come out to go and have a hamburger or something, look, the street, empty. I went, well, where are all these people that are supposed to be after my blood, But you never know, do you? Look at the crazies out there. So I guess you have to it's better to be safe than sorry.
Also, it just takes one. It doesn't have to be a mom, it just takes one.
That's right, exactly, yeah.
All right. Right there. Yes.
Hey.
Hi.
That's my first time. Thank you.
Welcome.
I was going to say, I wrote this today. It's a little story.
You'll have to speak loudly because I'm a bit Nut and Jeff.
Want to come up closer so we can hear you?
Yeah,
well?
come up closer.
And speak real loud, okay?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is that better? I was going to say, in 2008, when I was graduating high school, I got caught spray painting a wall, arrested with 3 friends, droogs. We all used to hang out and skateboard, and when I got to the police station, they checked my bag. Other than the spray paint, they found 2 movies, The Warriors and The Clockwork Orange. When my mom bailed me out, I came home to a room that was completely sanitized of any bad influences. She burned my records. I was cured, all right. I slowly built my collection back, and over the years I noticed punk bands referencing The Clockwork Orange with songs about ultra-violence, droogs, the Templars. They came out with an album called The Clockwork Orange Horror Show. Major Accident, Clockwork Orange themed band. They came out with Clockwork Heroes. And I remember hearing a funeral march of Queen Mary as an opening song to American hardcore band Cro-Max. It made sense to me.
How long is this going on?
Almost done.
Okay.
Very well, very well.
Okay.
It made sense to me that punk music would pay homage to Alex and his droogs. But I want to ask you, they say life imitates art. So what impact do you believe Alex and the movie as a whole has today?
Well, of course, that movie has had an enormous impact. You know, it's hard to gauge how much, because over every single sphere of sort of life, that movie has, in fact, influenced. It's either music, the makeups, punks. It's the grandfather of punk rock. I mean, when it first came out, it's hard to even describe it to you, what the shock it was to the audiences. They were stunned into silence. When I first saw the movie in New York, the first week it opened, I stood at the back, and at the end, nobody moved. Nobody clapped, not a murmur. They sat there in stunned silence. Because this is the first time they'd ever seen anything like it. There'd never been a movie that looked like this. I mean, and by the way, you know, the whites and all that, that was my cricket gear. That's how that came about. Stanley asked me, you know, before we were shooting, what do you think you wear? And I went, well, Stanley, you know, it's futuristic, I don't know. And he goes, well, what have you got? I went, what have I got? I don't have futuristic. I've got jeans and t-shirts and my cricket gear in the car. He goes, well, put it on. What's this? I went, well, that's a protector. He goes, wear it on the outside. The most iconic costume, one of them. And the eyelash, I found this yard of eyelash at Biba. It was like a boutique. And I bought it as a joke gift for Stanley. He looked at it and he goes, put it on, wear it. I went, well, I don't even know how to do it. You know, you cut it, glue it, and he took pictures. And he called me the next day and he goes, I got the pictures with the eyelashes. I went, oh yeah. He goes, yeah, you just wear one. He said, because you look at your face and you realize there's something off and you're not quite sure what it is. So all these little things, you know, that one just takes for granted is the building blocks of this great movie. And it's got to be a great movie because people are still watching it 53 years later. And that's how you really, you know the greatness of a piece of work. By if it's still around after 50 years, there must be something about it. It doesn't really date. The emphasis just changes with that movie. You know, of course now it isn't all the amazing effect of looking at these weird costumes and this whole kind of cold, weird landscape that is completely dominated by television and gangs roaming the streets. Now it's about the politics of the freedom of man to choose. And that's what I think young people pick up on today more than anything else. And the fact that they find it funny, which I am so thrilled at, because when I made it, I thought I made a comedy. I knew it was a black comedy, but I thought it was hilarious. Nobody said it was a comedy in 1970, believe me. It was like, what are they going on about the violence? There's no ketchup in the movie. There's nothing. It's all in the mind. Yeah. Yes.
The first time I saw the Clockwork Orange, I had already been like a big musical nerd, and I said, I will never hear that song the same way again.
Singing in the Rain.
In my life, right? I was like, thanks, Malcolm.
Well, that's what Gene felt too. That's why he wasn't too fond of me.
Oh, but I love you anyway, but it definitely put a new perspective on the song.
Well, you know, just something that I did intuitively was to start singing that song, and on the beat, you know, as a joke, really. And a lot of these things start as jokes. The whole thing at the end of the movie in the hospital bed when the minister is feeding me and I'm just going, And he's having to. That was because I saw Kubrick getting very bored with this long speech that this guy had, and I could see he was looking for ways to cut. And so to make him hurry up, and as soon as I did that, I saw Stanley laughing, and I knew the whole scene was going to be about that.
That's true. Yep.
And it takes the curse off, you know, the whole wrap-up of the movie, which is what the guy's doing. You don't even really care. You know, it's just, of course, we all know what the wrap is of the movie. But to see this, and to see this little punk who's forcing this minister, you know, to cut that steak and get it, and, you know, it was just absolutely perfect. So, as I say, art sometimes is a happy accident.
Right, anyone else? You pick Malcolm. Pick one.
Well, one over here.
So you worked with a lot of directors?
Yeah.
From the exacting nature of Kubrick to the more improvisational nature of the one that you just spoke about. Where is your sweet spot? Or what do you like as an actor?
Let me just get rid of one myth. Kubrick was not exacting. Kubrick did not know what he wanted. I remember asking him once, how do you direct? Because I'd worked with the great Lindsay Anderson. And he said, well, Malcolm, he goes, I don't know what I want, but I do know what I don't want. And that was so true. So if it wasn't there in the rehearsal, you'd go on until you found it. And he was amazing. My favorite director, though, is Lindsay Anderson, who I did 3 movies with when he only made 5. And he cast me in my first movie, which Stanley saw and cast me as Alex in Clockwork. Yes, there was one over here, I think. Yeah. Hello, yeah.
You are so spontaneous, like here on stage, and I've seen a lot of your movies. I couldn't say I've seen them all because I didn't know about that one in South Africa. But
Neither did I.
have you done theater? I mean, live?
Yes. Every English actor starts in the theatre. The centre of England is London. It's not like in the States where theatres, New York basically, and movies and television are on the West Coast. In England, it's all in London. So you start, because there is not a Hollywood situation. We don't have that many movies made in England. And so basically, if you're going to be a professional actor, you're going to work on the stage. So that's how I started in Weekly Rep, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and the Royal Court Theatre, working, doing that. But I always wanted to be a film actor. Not that there's any difference. You really shouldn't say film actor, state. It's all the same, just a different delivery system. But really, I suppose one's true love is really the theatre. It's just that I can't do it anymore. I find it very difficult to do with the lifestyle I have because, I've got these kids, we live on the West Coast, and if I got to leave the family for a minimum of 6 months. And I didn't really want to do that. So I would only do a play occasionally. But when I did it, I loved it. Yeah.
Any more? Yes.
Hey. So in all your years of show business, what's one of the most touching, heartfelt, pieces of fan art or tributes that anyone has just given you as a gift out of their appreciation for your talents?
Oh, I don't know whether I have been given any gifts. I mean, I'm paid, extremely nicely. No complaints over here.
No one's like painted a picture of you.
Yeah, they painted pictures of me, but
that you have hanging up in your home or anything like that?
No, I don't do anything from my career in my home. You will not see one poster, one photograph, because I'm a father, you know, a husband and a father. I'm not, and they get enough. Anyway, with this bloody internet and things going on all the time, they get to see Clockwork Orange before they should, you know. And dumbass interviews I've given from 50 years ago, they see those, they go, good God, Dad, look at your hair. And I always go, the Beatles have a lot to answer for. But, listen, I've had the most amazing and privileged life. And I've done something that I love doing. And I'm still doing it. I'm trying to learn a bloody part at the moment. I'll tell you this, your memory does not get better with old age.
No.
It's a nightmare trying to learn a long part. I'm doing a Western, playing a guy who's got verbal diarrhea. Never shuts up for a minute. But it's a script called Last Train to Fortune. And I was going to do this movie. It's basically about two people. I was going to do it with Bill Paxton. Bill was a dear friend, and I love Bill. And it's so tragic, you know, what happened. Well, now I'm doing it. We start shooting in March, and I'm doing it with James Paxton, his son. Yeah, I know. I'm so thrilled. So I'm doing it because of Bill, and James is doing it because it's a good part.
James isn't doing it for his dad?
I don't know. I said to him, you just do your own thing. You know, you're your own actor, which is what I tell my kids. You know, because now the two younger ones have suddenly decided, I want to be an actor. Right? It's not something you just wake up and go, hey, I want to be an actor. You're supposed to train, you know. Go out and do theater. Get paid £5 a week, $8. Try that for size. Work in moving furniture, which is what I did for 2 years. Moving furniture. I was superb. I could have worked for Mayflower. Is that what they call it here? That's the big furniture removers. I think it's in England. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, that was what I did at the Royal Shakespeare Company. Run in with crowns and the thrones and the benches and stuff like that, and set them on little marks and then take them off.
You were the set changer.
That's exactly what I was. And they'd throw me a bone like the odd line, which of course I managed to screw up. I think my very first lines in the West End of London, I was playing what happened was the English Herald in Henry V, the English Herald got sick, and so did his understudy. I was in the pub before the show. The assistant stage manager came in and said, does anybody know the English Herald? And I went, oh, you mean, my sovereign lord, bestow yourself with speed. The French are bravely in their battle set and will with all expedience charge on us. Is that the one? They went, yes, you're doing it. Fine, good. I thought, at last. So I'm waiting. I put on this royal, they call them a tabard, royal crest. I see the light, green, and I went, is that me? Is that mine? They're going, get. I go on. My sovereign lord, bestow yourself with speed, the French. The whole of the Agincourt army turns to face me. Come on, they're waiting. They went, oh my God, everybody was. There you are, my first, and Patrick Stewart was on stage during that. They were all there, laughing their heads off. Yeah. Do we have time for one more?
We do have time for one more. You ought to pick them out.
Okay, is this going to be an
Make
intelligent
it a good one.
Yes, sir. When you portrayed Dr. Loomis in the remakes of Halloween,
Yes.
did you reference at all Donald Pleasance's performance, or did you do it all by yourself? Did you have any inspiration from Donald Pleasance at all?
Well, I like to think I did it all by myself. I did have some help, however, from the script. I never saw any of the Halloweens, and oh gosh, oh blimey, still haven't. But I'm not into great horror thing like all you guys. I mean, I just act it. I don't have to love it. And in fact, I think I only lasted like 5 minutes at the premiere of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And I went, oh, geez, I can't take any more of this. I'm going to go for a meal. I'll see you at the end. But no, I had never seen Donald Pleasance. However, I did know who Donald Pleasance was. I met him a few times. And in fact, one time, I had a drink with him in the bar at this theatre called the Royal Court, which is in London. It's a great theatre. Because his daughter, Angela, was appearing in a play at the court. And I just happened to be in the bar and saw him and we talked. I spent an hour talking and hanging out with him. And I know that nobody did sinister like him. He was amazing. And of course he was the Bond villain and all these great, he played in a play written by Robert Shaw called The Man in the Glass Booth, which was the Eichmann story, you know, the trials in Israel when they caught him in wherever it was, Argentina. Anyway, yeah, no, I'd never seen him, but I could pretty much know exactly how he played it. But you know, I didn't want to play that, and I didn't want to copy him. I wanted to make it my own Loomis. And the purists, of course, have a problem with that. Well, that's not my problem. You know, Rob brought a whole different thing to it. And, you know, I mean, some people hate it, but other people love it. All I will tell you that I had so much fun working with Rob. And in fact, I got a call, you know, saying he wants you to do this Halloween thing. And I went, oh no, Rob Zombie. Well, I don't know him. And he goes, well, he wants to meet you for lunch. I went, oh, okay, fine. Where are we going? Mr. Chow's in Beverly Hills. So I walk into Mr. Chow's, and I'm thinking, what the hell is he? Who am I looking for here? And I saw this guy that looked like a reincarnation of, you know, not Ted Bundy, the other one, you know? With the hair down here, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, Charles Manson. I went, oh, you must be Rob Zombie. He went, hey, and he was so sweet, so nice. I had such a blast. I don't know whether you've ever checked out on the DVDs, the gag reel and all that, extras, because you could tell we were just giggling our way through the whole thing. And then I remember Tyler Mane comes through the wall or something. And in one take, I just looked at him and I went, hey, fuckface, ring the fucking doorbell. And we just went on talking. I mean, insane. We had so much fun. And in fact, Sherry kept saying I was making her laugh. And I went, look, I'm not even looking at you. What are you talking about? And your husband's getting irritated with me. And then she broke down. She started laughing, and then I went, she goes, I can hear you breathe. I went, oh, sorry. I'll stop breathing. Is that okay? So it was a bit like that. We just had such a great time. Rob is a real talent. It's funny, I had this lovely Scottish, she's a script supervisor. I was talking to her on the phone. She was in London. She has a thick Scottish accent. And she goes, and what are you doing next? I said, I'm working with, you know, this guy, Rob Zombie. She went, Rob Zombie? I think if I had a name like that, I'd change it. I said, no, darling, I think that's what he changed it to.
Malcolm, I do have one more rapid question for you, okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you are an inspirational performer and person. I would love to know, what is your philosophy?
What's what?
Your philosophy.
I don't have one.
That's your philosophy.
Yes.
I
I
know.
really don't have one. I think, honestly, it's do as to others what you would like done to you. You know, just let individuals be who they are. And, you know, just really try to lead a good life. Don't tread on people because they're going to come back to bite you in the ass.
Perfect philosophy.
Thanks all for coming.
Thank you, Malcolm.